Good morning, spiritual companions. We are reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Continuing Chapter 9, Some Intimate Disciples. Friday, August 28th, 1885. It was dawn. Sri Ramakrishna was awake and meditating on the Divine Mother. On account of his illness, the devotees could not enjoy his sweet chanting of the Mother's name. Sri Ramakrishna was seated on the small couch. He asked M, "Well, why have I this illness?" M, "People will not have the courage to approach you unless you resemble them in all respects. But they are amazed to find that in spite of such illness, you don't know anything but God." Master, smiling, Balaram also said, "If even you can be ill, then why should we wonder about our illnesses?" Even Brahman weeps, entangled in the snare of the 5 elements. M. Jesus Christ, too, wept like an ordinary man at the suffering of his devotees. Master, how was that? M. There were 2 sisters, Mary and Martha. Lazarus was their brother. All 3 were devoted to Jesus. Lazarus died. Jesus was on his way to their house. One of the sisters, Mary, ran out to meet him. She fell at his feet and said, weeping, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." Jesus wept to see her cry. Then Jesus went to the tomb of Lazarus and called him by name. Immediately, Lazarus came back to life and walked out of the tomb. Master, but I cannot do those things. M. That is because you do not want to. These are miracles, therefore you are not interested in them. These things draw people's attention to their bodies, and they don't feel genuine devotion for God. That is why you don't perform miracles. But there are many similarities between you and Jesus Christ. Master, smiling, what else? M. You don't ask your devotees to fast or practice other austerities. You don't prescribe hard and fast rules about food. Christ's disciples did not observe the Sabbath, so the Pharisees took them to task. Thereupon Jesus said, "They have done well to eat. As long as they are with the bridegroom, they must make merry." Master, what does that mean? M. Christ meant that as long as the disciples live with the incarnation of God, they should only make merry. Why should they be sorrowful? But when he returns to his own abode in heaven, then will come the days of their sorrow and suffering. Master, smiling, do you find anything else in me that is similar to Christ? M. Yes, sir. You say, the youngsters are not yet touched by woman and gold. They will be able to assimilate instruction. It is like keeping milk in a new pot. The milk may turn sour if it is kept in a pot in which curd has been made. Christ also spoke that way. Master, what did he say? M. If new wine is kept in an old bottle, the bottle may crack. If an old cloth is patched with new cloth, the old cloth tears away. Further, you tell us that you and the Mother are one. Likewise, Christ said, "I and my Father are one." Master, smiling, anything else? M. You say to us, God will surely listen to you if you call on him earnestly. So also Christ said, "Knock, and it shall be opened unto you." Master, well, if God has incarnated himself again, is it a fractional or a partial or a complete manifestation of God? Some say it is a complete manifestation. M. Sir, I don't quite understand the meaning of complete or partial or fractional incarnation, but I have understood, as you explained it, the idea of a round hole in a wall. Master, tell me about it. M. There is a round hole in the wall. Through it one is able to see part of the field on the other side of the wall. Likewise, through you one sees part of the infinite God. Master, true. You can see 5 or 6 miles of the meadow at a stretch. M. saluted the master and took his leave. Sri Ramakrishna said to him tenderly, "Come early in the morning tomorrow. The hot sun of the rainy season is bad for the health." Tuesday, September 1st, 1885. Sri Ramakrishna was about to take his bath. A devotee was rubbing his body with oil on the veranda south of his room. M. came there after finishing his bath in the Ganges and saluted the master. After bathing, Sri Ramakrishna wrapped himself in a towel and with folded hands saluted the deities in the temples from afar. He could not go to the temples because of his illness. It was the sacred Janmasthami day, the birthday of Krishna. Ram and other devotees had brought new clothes for Sri Ramakrishna. He put them on and looked charming. Again, he saluted the deities. It was 11 o'clock in the morning. The devotees were gradually arriving from Calcutta. Balaram, Narendra, the younger Naren, Navagopal, and a Vaishnava from Katoa arrived. Rakal and Latu were staying with Sri Ramakrishna. A Punjabi sadhu had been staying in the Panchavati for some days. He was going along the footpath in the garden. The master said, "I don't attract him. He has the attitude of a jnani. I find him dry as wood." Sri Ramakrishna and the devotees returned to the master's room. The Vaishnava from Katoa began to ask Sri Ramakrishna questions. He was squint-eyed. Vaishnava, "Sir, is a man born again?" Master, "It is said in the Gita that a man is reborn with those tendencies which are in his mind at the time of his death. King Bharata thought of his deer at the time of death and was reborn as a deer." Vaishnava, "I could believe in rebirth only if an eyewitness told me about it." Master, "I don't know about that, my dear sir. I cannot cure my own illness, and you ask me to tell you what happens after death. What you are talking about only shows your petty mind. Try to cultivate love of God. You are born as a human being only to attain divine love. You have come to the orchard to eat mangoes. What need is there of knowing how many thousands of branches and millions of leaves there are in the orchard? To bother about what happens after death? How silly. Girish Ghosh arrived in a carriage with 1 or 2 friends. He was drunk. He was weeping as he entered the room. He wept as he placed his head on Sri Ramakrishna's feet. Sri Ramakrishna affectionately patted him on the back. He said to a devotee, "Prepare a smoke for him." Girish raised his head and said with folded hands, "You alone are the perfect Brahman. If that is not so, then everything is false. It is such a pity that I could not be of any service to you." He uttered these words with a tenderness that made several devotees weep. Girish continued, "O Lord, please grant me the boon that I may serve you for a year. Who cares for salvation? One finds it everywhere. I spit on it. Please tell me that you will accept my service for 1 year." Master, people around here are not good. Some may criticize you for what you have been saying. Girish, I don't care. Please tell. Master, all right. You may serve me when I go to your house. Girish, no, it is not that. I want to serve you here. Girish was insistent. The master said, "Well, that depends on God's will." Referring to the master's throat trouble, Girish said, "Please say, let it be cured." "All right, I shall thrash it out. Kali, Kali." "Master, you will hurt me." Girish, "O throat, be cured." He blows at the throat like an exorciser. I believe they mean exorcist. "Are you not all right? If you aren't cured by this time, you certainly will be if I have any devotion to your feet. Say that you are cured." "Master," sharply, "leave me alone. I can't say those things. I can't ask the Divine Mother to cure my illness." "All right. I shall be cured if it is God's will." "Girish, you are trying to fool me. All depends on your will." "Master, shame. Never say that again. I look on myself as a devotee of Krishna, not as Krishna himself. You may think as you like. You may look on your guru as God. Nevertheless, it is wrong to talk as you are talking. You must not talk that way again." "Girish, please say that you will be cured." "Master, very well, if that pleases you." Girish was still under the influence of drink. Now and then he said to Sri Ramakrishna, "Well, sir, how is it that you were not born this time with your celestial beauty?" A few moments later he said, "I see, this time it will be the salvation of Bengal." A devotee asked to himself, "Why Bengal alone? It will be the salvation of the whole world." Girish said, addressing the devotees, "Does any of you understand why he is here? It is for the liberation of men. Their suffering has moved him to assume a human body." The coachman was calling Girish. He got up and was going toward the man. The master said to M, "Watch him. Where is he going? I hope he won't beat the coachman." M accompanied Girish. Presently Girish returned. He prayed to Sri Ramakrishna and said, "O Lord, give me purity that I may not have even a taste of sinful thought." Master, you are already pure. You have such faith and devotion. You are in a state of joy, aren't you? Girish, no, sir. I feel bad. I have worries. That is why I have taken so much liquor. A few minutes afterward, Girish said, "Lord, I am amazed to find that I, even I, have been given the privilege of serving the perfect Brahman. What austerities have I practiced to deserve this privilege?" Sri Ramakrishna took his midday meal. On account of his illness, he ate very little. The master's natural tendency of mind was to soar into the plane of God consciousness. He would force his mind to be conscious of the body, but, like a child, he was incapable of looking after his body. Like a child, he said to the devotees, "I have eaten a little. I shall rest now. You may go out for a little while." Sri Ramakrishna rested a few minutes. The devotees returned to the room. The Vaishnava from Katoa was arguing. "Master," to the Vaishnava, "stop that sizzling noise. When butter containing water is heated over a fire, it makes that sound. If a man but once tastes the joy of God, his desire to argue takes wing. What will you achieve by quoting from books? The pundits recite verses and do nothing else." Dr. Rakal arrived to examine Sri Ramakrishna. The master said to him eagerly, "Come in and sit down." The conversation with the Vaishnava continued. "Master, man should possess dignity and alertness. Only he whose spiritual consciousness is awakened possesses this dignity and alertness and can be called a man. Futile is human birth without the awakening of spiritual consciousness. Like a child, Sri Ramakrishna said to the physician, "Sir, please cure my throat." Doctor, do you ask me to cure you? Master, the physician is Narayana himself. I honor everybody. The doctor was going to examine Sri Ramakrishna's throat. The master said, Dr. Mahendra Sarkar pressed my tongue the way they press a cow's. Like a child, Sri Ramakrishna said to the physician, pulling at his shirt sleeves again and again, "Sir, my dear sir, please cure my throat." Looking at the laryngoscope, he said with a smile, "I know it. You will see the reflection in it." Narendra sang, but on account of the master's illness, there was not much music. End of chapter. End of today's reading.